We out of the woods. We are back in the show. Back in the studio. Welcome to Cooperville Live. It is good to be back. Couple days in the woods. But we are back and live once again on the show. Joe is in the house. What up, Joe? Devil horns and all that jazz. It's so good to be back. Yeah? Yeah. Been crazy times, peeps. Crazy times. But good times. Lots of fun stuff going on in the world. I'm going to pull up my stuff now. And to restart my whole thing. If you notice, we tried to start this show like 3 times. And then it was like, we have no sound. My whole system was mad at me for not being here for the last 2 days, so alas, here we are. Let's hit up the stuff. Coopervilleclothing.com. Yeah, last week, tacos. It's a hit. Who doesn't love a good taco? I mean, who is that person? We had tacos last night over the fire, and the meat was cooked over the fire. Delicioso. So check out, for the ladies, the tacos, ladies racerback, and the ladies tee. Of course, the week before that, we bounced out the meat eater blackout tee and the whiteout tee and the pullover hoodie. GFY stuff is still out there. Go smudge yourself. Don't be a anonymous dick. All the things are there at CoopervilleClothing.com. And another new drop coming out this Friday, so make sure you are tuned in, locked and loaded, ready to go. It's getting to be hoodie season, so I'll tease you with that. Captain Coop's Beard Company. All of the beard stuff that you need to keep your beard beautiful. Yeah. The oils, the balms, the butters. We're probably getting into, even though I know we have, at least up here in Wisconsin, we have some summer-like weather coming up later on this week and into the weekend. But we're getting into that fall time, so you might want to up your game a little bit as things start to dry out in your face hair. Get the oil in there. I do an oil and a balm. If I'm feeling real spicy, I'll even throw the butter in there. I'll go 3-fer because I am fearless. CaptainCoops.com. Better beard, a better booty. And this is after being out in the woods for the last couple days. But it's good to be back on. Thank you all for tuning in, whoever is here. Join along in the comments, wherever you're watching, if you're on YouTube, if you are on Twitch, or if you're on Facebook. Hi, welcome. I'm Cooper. This is Cooperville Live. It's good to be here. So last couple days was out with at Mr. Max Built from Max Built Off-Road and Manufacturing, and we were shooting a video with our friends from Aries Automotive, Kurt Manufacturing, and Lippert. So it was really cool. Like, we got a chance to do to rip roar some off-road stuff and to camp out in the Eau Claire County Forest. It was super rad and a super great crew of people, great products from all of the aforementioned companies, from Kurt and from Aries and from Lippert. So it was really cool. Check it out and do that. That video, by the way, will be shown at SEMA, which is coming up in November, the big Las Vegas auto show, which we'll be there doing things, making magic, marketing and shit. That's what we do. But no, it was yesterday was a super cool day because we were out basically all day, out in the woods, off grid, if you will. Though we did, I mean, it's getting more and more challenging to find a place where you actually are off of the grid totally. I mean, it was like, oh, we're not going to have any. Oh, we have reception. But we got to do a lot of stuff yesterday. Did a little fishing. We did a little mountain biking. We did some camping. We did some. We got whip some shitties, which was pretty rad. Little off-road, mud puddles, good stuff. And I realized I wasn't using my JK. I was actually thankful enough to be able to use the Chevy Silverado that we Max Built had done some work on for Aries and for Kurt and for Lippert. So I got to tear around in like a 2021 Chevy Silverado, the Z71 1500. So that was pretty rad. And it's a different feeling when it's not your vehicle, because if it's yours and you fuck it up, you're like, just check that bank account. But if it's somebody else's, you're not so concerned about that, but you are a little bit like, this is not mine. It's like when you were a kid and you broke somebody else's toy. Sorry, it was a Chevy. I know. But I'm telling you, I'm going to talk to those guys at Aries because they got some really badass Jeep stuff. And I think it's time for the Rubicon to get a little TLC. I love it, man. They got some cool stuff. Aries Automotive on the Instagram. Go and check it out. They got a lot of cool stuff. And I think I have a spot for it on the JK. Joe's a Ford guy. My dad, I mean, I was my dad was a Ford guy growing up, so it's like when I was with him, it was like all I had. It was all I was around. So I kind of got into the bias stuff. And now I'm a Jeep guy. But if someone's like, here, go and, fuck off in this thing for a couple of days and we're going to film you, I'll be like, okay. Okay. It didn't take much convincing. Really didn't. Plus, I mean, when you're out like camping on a Tuesday night and you're like, this is rad. We had some Coors Lights and some Maker's Mark. Tuesday shit. It was cool though. I know we're going to be getting some of that footage and stuff. So if you're not following me on the social medias, please make sure you do so. At No Limit Cooper on Instagram, Cooperville Live on Instagram, and obviously on the Facebook as well. We put some of that stuff up. Jeep 4-door is what I want next. That's what I got, man. I got the 4-door Rubicon JK, and it's pretty rad, but it's mostly stock. Mostly. I did put 33s on it last year. I had the hard top. Actually, it was kind of fucked up. So when I bought it, like that's what they sold me on, is the fact that it had the hard top on, but when you open up the back, they're like, oh, and it has the soft top. So you just take the hard top off and then you can roll the soft top up. I was like, super cool. Like 3 days after I got it, I took the hard top off and I pulled the soft top up and there's no windows in it. Like they have the zip-in like plastic windows, and there were none there. And I called the dealership. I'm like, "Hey, this is super unuseful." They're like, sorry, man. This is not our problem anymore." So, I still have the soft top. I think it's sitting at the shop, waiting for somebody to be like, "Oh, look, windows for a Rubicon soft top." And I'll be like, "Huh." But who knows? Who knows? No, it's hashtag Jeep Life, 100%. Phil, it was awesome. Phil had his the Gladiator. It's got the Rack Daddy in it, the Max Built Rack Daddy in it, which is super cool. If you're even if you have like a pickup truck, like check out Max Built. I think it's maxbuilt.com. What's up, C-Dubs? How you doing? It's this racking system. The Rack Daddy is like the big one. See, like it's a rack. It attaches to the back of the in this case the Gladiator, and he's got the FSR or Go FSR on Instagram tent on top of the rack, and then it's got like everything you could possibly need inside of there. It was super cool. So like we had a pretty rad setup out there on the road. It was pretty cool. Photos, posted a bunch of them up on the Insta. I'll be putting up more up from the last couple of days, but that was that's where I've been, and now I am back, and back it is good to be. C-Dubs, how are things in Malaysia? It's Thursday over there. Happy Thursday to you. Just getting your day started. Do want to let you know, Dr. J will be back on the show tomorrow. We moved his day this week to Thursday to accommodate the film shoot that I was a part of the last couple of days. So he'll be on tomorrow. We have a lot to talk about. It's been several weeks since we've had Dr. J on. Obviously, it was gone in Epic and then kind of swung back in. And it was a holiday and then, just all over the place, man. And we actually were in talks. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's your Friday, Joe. Congratulations on that. So we're talking If you watch the show, it's Joe. I know you do. C-Dubs, you're on here quite often. Working with Max Built as their marketing guy, and with Epic Willie's Adventure, and then also in the next couple weeks, starting at 96.7. I'll get it figured out. 96.7 Highway 111 Country out of Cookville, Tennessee. I'll be doing afternoons. It won't be live. I'll be recording it from the studio here, but I will be doing that Monday through Friday. I'll be on the station down there, which is pretty cool. Like I always said, I wasn't going to get back into radio, but then they were like, "Hey, you can do this from home, and you just have to I have a program, and it'll be like I'm there, but I'm not." And so with that coming in too in the next couple of weeks, we may be adjusting the show. Obviously, the last month has been a little crazy with everything going on, but we may just do it less per week, but then fill those shows with guests and content and all the things. So just a heads up as you obviously prepare your life around me. That's a joke. But we'll be posting all that stuff on the social. They will be online. I'm not sure of the website yet, but I will. I'll post it, Joe. And I think they have like a mobile thing, so you can listen on your phone, or if you have a phone that connects to your car, you can listen there. And it's cool because it's basically centered in 90s country. So all the great 90s country stuff, and then they dip back into some 80s stuff, and then they actually go forward into some 2000s stuff, but really in that wheelhouse of that big country boom of the 90s, obviously spearheaded by Garth. So it'll be super cool. And who knows? It may facilitate some guests on this program too, or vice versa. Have them on that show and have them on this show. Who knows, man? All of the things. That's what we're doing. All the things. So just be aware of that. We're going to be probably adjusting the show. Probably not the hours necessarily. We'll still probably try to shoot for 5, but it may be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something along those lines. So we'll see, man. We'll see. So much is happening. So many things are happening in the world. Again, I strongly encourage you, as I got a chance to do so back in August with Epic, and then again the last couple of days, it's kind of be not off the grid, because we still had obviously reception. We could still get on social media. I was posting stuff the whole time. But you don't really have that time or want to scroll through Facebook and see all the shit that's going on. You're like, and to prepare for this show, I go into Apple News and I just read a whole bunch of different stuff, and I'm like, wow, a lot can happen over the course of just 2 days. Hi, Mom. Hope things are well in California. Hey, California love. By the way, Mom, I did read that the House Party app is soon to become non-existent. It was bought out by a different company. I can't tell you who, but they're going to shut it down and then revamp it and come up with something else. So we'll have to find a different mechanism. I don't think they've done it yet. I still see it on the phone and on my computer, but we may have to reestablish the way FaceTime. Could be a thing. So Norm Macdonald died. That was sad news that came out yesterday. Comedian Norm Macdonald passing away at the age of 61 after a pretty private battle with cancer. I don't know that it was even really made public. That was one of the headlines that I saw yesterday, obviously, with a lot of people sharing it. So, I was never really big SNL guy. A lot of people remember him from Saturday Night Live and then a couple other of the shows he was a part of. I think, was he on Drew Carey? I don't remember. But he's been on, a multitude of television shows and movies and stuff, and obviously stand-up comedian. But another legend lost privately to cancer. So that was kind of the big news from yesterday as far as the Hollywood side of things. A couple of the stories I want to touch on today. I guess some water. Yes, we will find a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. There's Zoom. You can even have a FaceTime thing on the Facebook. I think. I don't know. I've never used it. From Huffington Post, ESPN reporter Allison Williams declines to get required COVID-19 vaccination and will take a leave from ESPN. She says, quote, after a lot of prayer and deliberation, I've decided I must put my family and personal health first, said Williams, who is trying to conceive a second child. So it sounds like ESPN has mandated the COVID-19 vaccination. And Allison Williams, sideline reporter, looks like she filled in on some Sports Center stuff, says, no, I'm going to not. So she is being forced to take a leave. She says she will miss his being on the sidelines and is thankful to the support of her ESPN family. Looking forward to when I can return to games and the job I love. Williams said she made the decision after consulting with her doctor and a fertility specialist. These are things that have been floated out there since the whole vaccine thing came out, was there could be some side effects when it comes to fertility if you are in that wanting to have a baby phase, or even if you're not, even if you're like in 5 years or in 10 years or maybe someday phase, there could be some long-term fertility issues. And obviously Allison Williams, who's trying to have a second child, is like, no, because that could mess up this. And as messed up as it is for ESPN to mandate such a thing, it does sound like they're being like, cool, we understand, like take a leave, not necessarily have to resign or be let go or be fired or anything like that. So, I mean, good. Like, yeah, good for her. Went to her doctor and was like, Doctor's like, good for that doctor too. You know, that's not spoken about a lot, as the doctors that are like, I wouldn't do this. If I were you, if you were trying to do this, I wouldn't do this. Or you are a healthy individual who doesn't have any of these things, you should not get this. So, interesting stuff. Yeah, and good for her, though. Stand your ground, girl. Do your thing. What else is happening in the world? And here on the opposite end of the spectrum of understanding employers, this story from the New York Post. Unvaccinated French healthcare workers will face suspension. Healthcare workers in France face suspension from their jobs starting today if they haven't been vaccinated against COVID-19. With as many as 300,000 workers not vaccinated, some hospitals fear staff shortages will only add to their strain. Well, if only there was a way to solve the problem. What? Oh, there is a way. How are we going to... 300,000 healthcare workers. Now, officially, as of today, suspended. Well, now we have a shortage. Well, no shit. I didn't see this coming. Yeah, like, I think it was March of 2020 where, like, logic, fuck it. Like, it's just gone. It's out the window. It no longer exists. People are like, I don't understand why there's a shortage of healthcare workers. I mean, we just suspended 300,000 of them, but I don't understand why there's a shortage. What? Ooh, we got a bot watching on Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on big follows. Thank you, robot. Joe's watching on the Twitch. You see that? Do you want to become famous? Nah, I'm good. I'm good with this, us hanging out. Buy followers. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we've lost the sense of logic. We really have. From people wearing masks in their cars by themselves to being outside. You're like, 300,000. Why do we have a shortage? I don't understand. Well, again from the New York Post, an Army officer resigns over Biden's immoral, tyrannical vaccine mandate. A high-ranking U.S. Army officer has resigned and given up his pension after almost 20 years of service because of what he calls President Biden's unethical, immoral, and tyrannical vaccine mandate. We salute you. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Douglas Hugh Haig said in a resignation letter tweeted by his wife that he resigned from his 19-year career primarily because of the Pentagon requirement that all U.S. military members be jabbed by mid-September. His wife said in the tweet that her hubby was walking away from all he's worked for and believed in since he was at ROTC, as a ROTC kid at UGA. Haig, who is stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, reportedly wrote in his letter, first and foremost, I am incapable of subjecting myself to the unlawful, unethical, immoral, and tyrannical order to sit still and allow a serum to be injected into my flesh against my will and better judgment. And kudos to you, sir. That's pretty big, because 20 years is like the time. Like 20 years you can, bounce out if you were so inclined to do so. He's probably not the only one. That's like, no. After all the things that the military shoves into your arm, he's like, no. It's good for him. He also added, it is impossible for the so-called vaccine to have been studied adequately to determine the long-term effects. It has simply not existed for enough time, and any claim otherwise is blatantly ignorant and will be likely an outright lie driven by negligent political agendas. Well said, sir. Well said. Kudos to you. But enough about all that shit. The only needle I want is a tattoo needle. I feel you, bro. I feel you. I've been itching for a while now. It just hasn't been one of those things. Like, oh yeah, I got ideas, man. I got a whole fucking folder full of tattoo ideas that are just like, wait. I mean, obviously I have a couple, but more is better. Never had one. No time like the present. I will tell you they are addicting, and they'll be like, oh, now I want more. My niece just got her first tattoo, and then like a week later got her second tattoo. I'm like, welcome to the dark side. I'm just kidding. It's not the dark side. Very cool stuff. This is interesting. Maybe we'll wrap on this one, just so you feel better about your life. I always like to do that. Like, hey, this sucks, but hey, could be worse. Police in Oklahoma are searching for the culprit who defecated in a grocery store freezer after a woman made the revolting discovery when she was reaching for a bag of pizza rolls. Imagine yourself in this situation. Put yourself in the frozen food aisle, just want some Totino's pizza rolls. That's it. By the way, total side note. When did Totino's change the recipe? I remember pizza rolls being like the bomb. Something changed because we had some a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it's just not the same. I digress. Something changed. Something is not the same. They suck now. I mean, if they're available, I'm like, okay, I'll have some. But it's just not that fulfilling. Like as a kid, you have sleepovers and stuff, with your friends, with your buddies. And you play video games, you drink Mountain Dew, and you throw some pizza rolls in. And you're like, these are good. And you eat the whole bag. And you get pissed when your mom buys just the little bag. I'm just kidding, Mom. You always bought the big bag. Thanks. What am I going to do with this little bag? Give me the big family size. I digress. Let's get back to this story. The man was captured on surveillance cameras defecating in the freezer at the store on Sunday night. The woman was shopping with her 2 children, told a local news channel that she ended up with feces all over her hand after she reached inside the freezer for the bag of pizza rolls. You think you're having a bad day. Work sucks. World is going to shit. There's a healthcare worker shortage, and they can't figure out why, even though they just suspended 300,000 of them. You're going, what is wrong with the world? It just wants some pizza rolls in the old recipe. And you go to the store, and you're like, I was so disgusted, I was almost in tears. Maybe, and I'm just going to hypothesize here, maybe the gentleman was also very upset, as I am and as Joe is, about the change in recipe of pizza rolls. He's like, I'll show them. Your pizza rolls are shit. I bleached my hand. I disinfected my hand. She said it did little to deter the smell. Reminds me of a story. Party pizzas are still pretty good, though. All right. There was like these frozen bagel pizzas, like little, they're like on little half bagels. Remember those? Throw those in the oven. Delicious. Good stuff. But anyway. So we were driving down. We were heading to get ready to start Epic. So we were driving down to Kansas City, and we had stopped along. We got off the highway onto the off ramp, and then we were just going to get back on. But one of the trailers had some lights out, so we stopped. It's like a 3-vehicle convoy, because 2 of them had large trailers carrying a bunch of old Jeeps. Get out, check the lights, fiddle around with some stuff, whatever. And we start to get back into, we're riding in the Gladiator. And our buddy Eric, somehow along the side of the on-ramp to the highway, stepped in human feces. Didn't really realize at the time until he got back in the vehicle. We got back down the road, and we're like, what is that god-awful smell? It was all over his shoes. Popped the shoes off, opened the back door of the sliding glass window of the Gladiator, and tossed the shoes out the back. And it did take like 10 miles before the smell kind of started to exit the vehicle. Windows were all down. It's fucking raining outside of Kansas City. We're like, well, whatever. That's life. But again, it's one of those moments where you're like, I understand the need of having to go. But there was like on the off-ramp or on the on-ramp to get back onto the highway. Again, I believe it was in Missouri. Like a half a block up was like a little bar restaurant thing. Like, and it was big. Like we saw it from the road. We're like, oh, look, a giant bar. Like, why here and not like, let's just stop there quick. The redneck rest stop. I'm saying, like, here's good. Maybe they have an alcohol thing. They'd be like, if I go into the bar, I'm going to be there for a day. I'll get it. I've been there. Cool stuff. Again, tomorrow on the show, Dr. Jay LaGuardia is back on. We're going to talk about mandates and all this other COVID bullshit that's coming back around. A lot of fears out there that we're going to go back in time to where we were last year at this time. But he's got some anecdotal things we can do to deter said movement back. Luckily, in Wisconsin, they really can't do much because, governor got overturned on some shit. So, until then, have yourselves a great Wednesday. Peace, Joe. Enjoy your Friday tomorrow. And then subsequently your weekend. Everybody else, we're back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock with Dr. Jay LaGuardia. So join the program if you so choose to do so. Be entertained, informed, and enlightened. Help you feel better about you. I see you peeking in here at the end. All of the things, Brian. You have safe travels to the UP. Wave in Ironwood. Maybe my son will see you.